All-Star games before he retired in 2016. I want to bring in NBC Sports host Mike Tirico. He joins us by phone now. Mike, I don't think we can overstate what a legend Kobe Bryant was.
No, Kate, certainly not. And everyone in the sports world, not just the folks who've been in the basketball world, are just shocked by this news. Kobe retired from the NBA in 2016. He's the fourth all-time leading scorer. He was the third all-time leading scorer until yesterday. LeBron James passed his mark yesterday. And Kobe tweeted out his congratulatory remarks towards LeBron. After that, he was with one of the marquee franchises in the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers, and that allowed the Hollywood presence that you're talking about. Kobe was a celebrity. He was a star on and off the floor. His championships go back 20 years. He came right from high school to the NBA at a time when that was not done very often, and became one of the greatest players in the history of the league. This is a very close league. Its superstars and its leaders are in a very small and tight circle. Just this week, Kate, I was in New York at Radio City Music Hall, where they had an unbelievable gathering of basketball greats honoring the late David Stern, the commissioner who passed away on January 1st. And the community was still saddened by the commissioner's passing 25 days later. And this will only devastate all the basketball community and all the people who love sports, because Kobe Bryant truly was one of the great sportsmen of our generation.
Mike, we don't know where the helicopter was coming from and going to at this point. It went down Calabasas, is near Malibu, California. I know he's been in the business world of late. He's got a number of projects. He's had a number of deals, I think, with Nike and others. Explain that. What has he been up to more recently?
Sure. He retired in 2016, Kate, and even on the day of his final game that I had the chance to broadcast, he scored 60 points in that game. Most anybody scored in the NBA that year as an individual. Kobe was taking meetings that morning near his house, near his office, which was not near downtown Los Angeles yet. Because of the 20 years in LA and the notorious traffic in Los Angeles, Kobe, as he got later in his career, would commute from his home, where he had an office nearby, and would commute via helicopter downtown to Los Angeles, where they played at the Staples Center, or to do other things. So Kobe's helicopter has been in use for several years. Some had referred to it as Kobe One, a la Air Force One, right. His personal helicopter for commuting downtown to Los Angeles to avoid the traffic. So when I heard the news Kobe Bryant helicopter, you put together right away, that is something he had used often.
And talk more about his career. I mean, you've already hit on the highlights, but this was a special player.
2 Olympic gold medals, 5 NBA championships. In his 20 years, he was an all-star 18 times, which is the second most in the history of the league, and as I said, was fourth in points. But those stats and accolades, extraordinary by any accounting, pale in comparison to the people who competed against Kobe. Kobe had a drive and a desire to compete unlike many athletes any of us have covered in many sports. It was the old, if his mom was there guarding the basket, he would go and attack the basket and go over his mom for a hoop. That was Kobe. He had what he was nicknamed the Mamba, and it was known as a Mamba mentality. And you've seen him talk about it to many athletes in various sports, ranging from other NBA players to teammates to college basketball players and women's college basketball players of the current day. They all have been inspired and in some way pushed by Kobe Bryant's mentality to be that extra level of great. And you've been showing the pictures of Kobe here on the screen, and one of them is with his daughter. His daughter is one of the 4 daughters, was a very good young basketball player, and we've seen lots of shots at NBA games the last 2 years of Kobe talking basketball and other things with his daughter, and that's just one of many heartbreaking aspects of this unbelievable story.
Unbelievable. We didn't believe it in the newsroom when we first started hearing reports, Mike. A wife, Vanessa, and 4 daughters. Just to note, NBC News has just confirmed the passing. We're no longer attributing this to the LA Times. NBC News has spoken with the city manager of Calabasas, California, confirming Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash. You see the wreckage burning there in the background of that shot. This was about 10 a.m. Pacific time, so that's about 1 p.m. Eastern time today on a Sunday. Mike, what will happen now? Are you hearing yet from any giants, other giants in the world of basketball or sports? I assume there'll be an outpouring of grief.
There will be, Kate, as is the case in 2020. This news often transfers around the country much quicker than it used to because of social media, and just seeing the reports and comments of some on social media, it's complete devastation emotionally for so many people who were inspired by Kobe. And undoubtedly, as you watch not just NBA games, but I think games in any sport over the next 4, 5, 6 days, you will see emotional tribute. You'll see Kobe's number, either number 8 or 24. He wore both in his career. You'll see them on sneakers. You'll see players wearing them if they can. You'll see displays of emotion and signs and, of course, moments of silence. I think not just in the NBA or college basketball, but sports all over the country as we go through the next few weeks. And certainly the sports world will be in mourning because at age 41, Kobe had so many things beyond basketball that was part of this life, including being a dad to those 4 girls as well.
So young. Mike Tirico, will you stay with us on the phone if you don't mind? I want to go to some sound that we've just been able to turn around. This will be sound you'll hear from L.A. County's fire department, their public information officers, describing what happened to this helicopter.
Still early on in this incident, we received a call just before 10 a.m. this morning, L.A. County Fire Dispatch, of an aircraft down here in the Malibu area right off of Los Virgenes. It's essentially Calabasas, right off the Los Virgenes Road here. And apparently some folks were out here mountain biking this morning and saw an aircraft in distress that went down into the hillside. This was a helicopter. It's been confirmed that it was an S-76 Sikorsky helicopter. And unfortunately, there were no survivors.
Again, we're here at NBC News in New York. I'm Kate Snow, and we're reporting on the tragic death of Kobe Bryant, killed in a helicopter crash, along with 4 other passengers. We don't yet know who those 4 other passengers were. I want to go back one last time to Mike Tirico before we go back to sports. Mike, of course, is our sports anchor. Mike, this is a person who, to me, seemed like a mentor to others, seemed to really care about the future of the sport.
Kate, that was definitely part of the final chapter of Kobe Bryant as a player and then emerging into as a businessman over time here. There were times, go back to when he and Shaquille O'Neal, in the year after Michael Jordan won 6 titles in 8 years, the next 3 years were dominated, a 1-year space in between, by 3 consecutive titles with Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. And a lot of the story was after that, could they get along together, and that they were maybe too big for each other. And in a later chapter, as Kobe won another title after that, 2 more titles after that in 2009 and 2010, I think after that you started to see Kobe become more of a mentor to some of the players he was around, to the star players in the league. And certainly in this business venture that was the end of his career and post, Kobe was trying to help his people who touched him, really, as a platform to tell their story and to do good storytelling. He was involved in some media projects as well. I was very much involved in the next chapter.
Mike, there were a couple of films, Dear Basketball and Kobe Bryant's Muse. I believe he won awards for at least some of that work. So that was part of his latest chapter.
That is correct. And that's what I was referring to when we discussed the next chapter of his career involving some production. He ended up winning an Oscar for one of the awards that he ended up winning, one of the films, the short film Dear Basketball, which was essentially a poem that he put, and that really did explain his incredible connection to the game and where that passion derived from that we saw on the basketball floor for 20 years.
Mike Tirico, thank you for walking us through the pain today. Such a horrible news that we have to share with America. I appreciate you being with us on the phone. I know we'll see you again probably on Nightly News this evening. Thank you. Just to recap for those who are just joining us, NBC News has confirmed with the county manager, city manager rather, of Calabasas, California, that Kobe Bryant, one of the biggest names in the NBA, has unfortunately perished in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California. Of course, we're going to have much more on all of this and the life of Kobe Bryant, remembering him. All of that will be ahead tonight on NBC Nightly News. We have our reporters heading to the field as well to get the latest information on what exactly happened to bring down that helicopter, as you see the shot there in Calabasas. For now, I'm Kate Snow at NBC News in New York, and I will turn it back over for most of you. You'll go back to sports coverage on the NBC network.